What is happening, y'all? Welcome to the Geek Out Room podcast, formerly known as Breaking the Kernel. Basically, we did a little bit of a rebrand. We had a problem logging into the old Spotify account. It was really finicky, so we just decided to go ahead and just call it the Geek Out Room. It's something I've been toying with name-wise for a long time. I settled with Breaking the Kernel for a different reason, and Breaking the Kernel will come back, but in a different way, not as it was before as a podcast. So the Geek Out Room, geek out on all things history, pop culture, video games, movies, TV, you name it. I want to learn it. I love geeking out. Let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about the Bear Season 4. Bear Season 4 came out. This will be a non-spoiler review, all right? I may do a spoiler review in a different episode, but right now, I know it just came out. I want to give people a chance to watch it. So, no spoilers. Let's get into it. Listen, season 3, from what I've seen and what I've talked to from people I've got into the Bear and people who watch the Bear regardless, has said season 3 was a little bit of a low point for them, and a lot of them had commitment issues coming into season 4, right? So, and I've not talked to anybody about season 4 of The Bear yet. I just finished it like earlier today. And in my opinion, I actually liked season 3 way more than most people, I guess. And I think season 3 was a payoff of what season 1 and 2 built. And season 3 was a great culmination of a lot of that. It added more backstories to a lot of characters we really love, which again is from the payoff of having a tremendous season 1 and 2. So, why I say all that? Season 4, I think if you didn't like season 3, you may not like season 4. I don't think you'll hate it, because a lot of people's complaint about season 3 was they were doing a bunch of backstory instead of like keeping things current. Season 4 is very current and deals with a lot of issues current, but I feel like, in my opinion, it's a little more disjointed than season 1, 2, and 3. Especially season 1 and 2. I think season 1 and 2 was a perfect bridge. I think season 3 was a great bookmark to season 1, 2, and 3. Season 4 feels like a conclusion to the series. And season 5 has not been greenlit. And from what so season 4 leaves off in a certain way where, hey, if this is the end, this is the end. But if we want to continue, we can still tell a story. Now, regardless, I do think season 5 needs to be it. I don't think there's any other room for a story for past season 5. I think even season 4, you really could have ended it with another episode or two, but I digress. Excuse me, sorry. I do feel like season 4 was a great Carmy season. Don't be wrong, they still do what the Bear does best: focus on a lot of other all the characters, or all the main characters, and puts emphasis and focus on them, even giving them some solo episodes to help further develop their characters, right? And flesh it out and make you invested and care in what they're doing, so that when they have these solo episodes or these little interactions, basically whenever Carmy's now on the screen, it's not boring time, and you're still just as invested, right? And I think that this season 4, has a lot of bright spots, more bright spots than not for my personal taste. I think that there is one solo episode in here with a particular character that I did not like at first. Not that I didn't like the character, I didn't like the episode at first, but then by the end of the episode, it completely won me over. I got the point of the episode. I feel like I didn't. I just felt like it was one of those things based off where we left off last season. I feel like I didn't know that some of the decisions and some of the situations were going to take all season long to really culminate or really deal with. And I was a little sick of it, I'm not going to lie. But by episode 10 of season 4, I was like, okay, this is why this decision was made by Christopher Story. Like, this is why we had certain characters mull over certain life changing decisions. And what that makes me say about season 4 overall is that season 4 is very realistic. You could say that about a lot of different episodes in The Bear, a lot of seasons in The Bear, but I'm telling you right now, something about season 4 was so damn real. And season 3, again, to me, season 3 of The Bear had some of the best overall acting performances of the entire series. Some of the best acting performances of television. And season 2 of The Bear was amazing to me, my favorite season of The Bear. But season 3 had some performances, man. Right? It had some performances that I think a lot of people let fly under the radar because of how they felt about the overall season. But there was some acting, right? And season 4, man, it feels so personal. Because it is, right? All these episodes, the whole series, you really follow these characters' lives. And in this season, they let their actors cook. They always have, but something about this season I feel like demanded so much of them. But they're all veterans at this point, and they're in their bag. And I feel like I choked up many times during this season 4, man. I'm telling you. And certain episodes, certain moments got me in previous seasons. But season 4, multiple episodes got me in my feelings. And let me tell you, Jamie Lee Curtis is in this season as well. I know how, despite how people feel about the person, I'm telling you right now, acted. Top tier acting. Top tier acting. Not in much. Jamie Lee Curtis is not in the season much. But when Jamie Lee Curtis is on screen, Jamie Lee Curtis delivers some of the best performances. Jamie Lee Curtis is going to win another Emmy next year for this. I would be hard pressed. End of the year's not over yet. I'll be hard pressed to find a better guest actress performance than hers. Because Jamie Lee Curtis, man, there's a particular episode where I don't remember if she had a monologue, but she's just having a back and forth, and you can tell it's a back and forth with another character. But really, it's almost like not only is Jamie Lee Curtis have a character, Carmi's mom, having a back and forth with another character, but it's like she's having a back and forth with herself. It's almost like she's having a monologue with herself, and that right there, I shed a tear that episode because the acting was so strong from both people in that scene. And I'm telling you, it's not only because of the acting in this particular scene or that whole episode, really, it is the culmination again of seasons 1, 2, and 3. The build up has you so invested in these characters. That's why, like, season 4 or whenever if let's say season 5 is the final season, the build up was so worth it because you have these moments where these characters, you couldn't get here if these characters, if we didn't have 3 previous seasons of building to this moment. And it is such a great moment. Even episode 10 for season 4, the final episode, the season finale, it was an episode I did not expect, right? Again, no spoilers for the episode, but one thing that I can say without, I guess, spoiling anything is that they do not leave one location. They have an entire, there's not that I remember. I don't watch every single TV show ever, but it's been a long time if ever I've seen a TV show have its season finale in one location and they never leave the location. Not a flashback, they never leave the location. It's almost like they set up the cameras and they said 3, 2, 1, act. And keep acting until you feel like you're done. And then that's the season finale. Some of the best, again, it's so bold to do that, right? Because there's so much momentum, so many things are happening that to have what could have been a quarter of an episode or even half of an episode to make it the entire episode, but keep it very engaging in one single location and have multiple actors really playing off of each other and the dialogue be dialoguing. It was really brilliant, and to me, it was just one of my favorite moments of the season and something that I will always take with me. If they do not get renewed for season 4, I think season 5, I think season 4 is more than good enough to have a final season in season 5. But that season 4 finale was so good. A lot of people may not like it, but I'm telling you, it is. If you're invested in these characters, which is the whole point of this show, that episode, that season finale was something you've been waiting for. It was something that you anticipated and something you thought you wouldn't get till like the second to last episode of the series finale. But they give it to you in the season 4 finale, and it felt good, and it made the entire watch of season 4 worth it. I'm not saying, you should struggle to watch the whole thing from start to finish, it'll pay off, but I'm saying, like, it's a great payoff for the amount of emotional turmoil these characters have faced for seasons, and what they faced in just season 4 alone. The stakes are so high. The stakes are so high this season. And the one complaint I may have about it is that the stakes were so high for the restaurant. I feel like sometimes we went away from that. Sometimes I felt we went away from that a little too much. And there are certain things in the restaurant I feel like we could have played with a lot more. But if we have a season 5, I can see that being all, like, I could see the vision. I can see where the final story or final season for this is. And I feel like season 4 was a perfect build-up for that. They didn't sacrifice season 4 to build up a season they may not even get. But I'm saying that if a season 5 does happen, just like season 1, 2, and 3, they keep on building this anticipation with a bunch of payoff every season finale. But it's time for the series to end. And I think season 5, they could do that and go on a really high note. And I can see it being really beautiful. Sydney's character is a huge focal point of this season because of how season 3 left off. And I have to say that Sydney's character has so much to do this season, which is phenomenal. And I'm not going to lie, that performance was A1. There's an episode in this, I forgot what episode it was, but there's an episode that really involves with Sydney's character. Sid's having this emotional moment. This moment, we've seen Sid break down before. We've seen her get mad, angry, happy, all the emotions. But something about this season, it was different. Because you can feel the pressure of her decisions, the pressure of her, how long it's taken her to contemplate making a certain decision. You feel it weighing on her so heavy. And something happens and the dam finally breaks, and we see Sid in a way that's so vulnerable yet beautiful at the same time. And that's what I mean by this season being so human. Because so many, it's fiction, these fictional stories, you place something up for dramatic effect and this and that, and you have these long pauses or, just for a comedy effect, all these different things. But I'm telling you, season 4, man, felt so grounded. And a lot of The Bear does it. I'm not saying the rest of the season isn't, but I don't know. Maybe it's recency bias. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll feel differently. But I'm telling you, off of like a couple hours since I finished this season, something about how the characters responded to emotional moments this season felt surreal. And maybe because I've been going through certain things in life and it's just perfect timing that it's just hitting me differently and maybe impacting me more. But it is phenomenal how they're doing it. It's phenomenal. Anyone who's had to struggle with making really hard or life-changing or altering decisions, you can really relate to what Sid's going through this season and how long it takes and how much is weighing on her and how much is affecting how she interacts with other people and doing even the most mundane or simple tasks, because this is in the back of her mind, and I feel like it's so real, right? We don't. I'm trying to think. We get moments of Marcus. The one complaint I do have, and again, Marcus had plenty in the first 3 seasons, but man, Marcus is my favorite character in the show, and like by far, it's not even close. Shout out to him getting Emmy nom because he deserves it for season 3, but or season 2 and 3 really, but he's not featured as much in this season as I would have liked. Now, granted, the way his arc and stuff went, it's like he's had his time and there's no reason to stretch it out. You can still have him be a part of the main cast and not give him, per se, like another solo episode or certain things like that. And he does, there are payoffs for his character and a very emotional moment that made me feel like he was like my big brother or like my, like just a sibling, like someone like a family member to me, basically. I think I believe we're like very similar age. But no, he just feels like a family member. There's a moment in the season where you're like, I'm crying because I feel like you're a family member. That's how emotionally attached I am to you as this character. That's how well this character was written and how well this character has progressed through time. Richie has Richie moments, and this season doesn't have that. Okay, see, let me do the season finale. For me, at first it was like there was none until season finale came, and again, that's gonna be people either gonna love it or hate. People are gonna either love or hate that episode, man. I'm telling you that right now. But there's no episode like I think that'll be universally loved. I mean, like there's no episode that'll be like the Forks episode or the episode of I think it's the Fish with Jamie Lee Curtis, all the guest stars. There's no episode like that where it's like, oh, that's the Emmy right there. That's the episode that's gonna break the internet. Like, there's no episode like that this season. But there is a episode where a lot of characters are here. We get another guest spot episode, but it is, I don't know, it feels lesser than the other ones because it's chaos, because when they're all together it's always chaotic, but it's chaotic in a different way. Like, you see the growth, because of the growth that all these, and this is how I realized, right? 'Cause I was like, oh, this is boring. Not that it's boring, actually, and you realize this halfway through the episode, it's not that it's boring, or not even boring, but lackluster. I should say lackluster. It wasn't boring, lackluster. It's that all these characters have had so much growth through the seasons. They had so much growth through being to this restaurant, all this trial and tribulations together. They're different people at this next get together. They're different people, and that's the moment it hit me as fucking beautiful. It's freaking beautiful because you see that this moment could be so chaotic. There's an even I don't want to spoil it, but there's characters that you're like, oh, chaos is coming, but chaos doesn't actually get there because of the growth and these characters taking accountability. I'm telling you, man, this season was real. It could have been so easy to be like, oh, more chaos and just kind of make it like that, but it's like, no. These characters have growth. They didn't throw away 3.5 seasons of growth. They stuck to it. They made it very realistic. They made it very human. Like, hey, anyone who had this much growth and this much stuff to do, at this point in their life, they would be more healed. They would be able to handle some of these things, or at least not that they would be completely there or healed, but like they would be able to handle these. They would have better tools and resources to handle certain stressors and certain situations. So let's not throw unnecessary drama for the sake of doing it. Because there's a very cute scene where they're helping someone get over a fear or like just being kind of introverted, basically, or kind of something like that. And they're all sharing their fears. And there's no way that season 1, 2, and half of season 3 of these characters would have been able to have a conversation like that, or would have been able to do the things they're doing at this get together. They wouldn't. It would be an emotional mess. But because they had so much time to heal and like work through things, and they each have, they're all stressed still and still not perfect characters, all flawed characters or flawed people that are characters, but like it's so they were still able to handle it because they still had they had time to grow, and I really love that. So basically, that's all I'll say about this. This season, out of 10, what am I giving it? I give the Bears season 4 a. I'm gonna give it. I'm trying to think. I want to be careful. I don't like to re-rate things, so I like to try to be really definitive with my rank. I'm going to give I gave season 3 an 8 out of 10. I'll give season 4 of The Bear a 7 out of 10. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I liked season 3 way more. And I thought season 4 was, as much as the praises I gave it, season 4 felt kind of, it didn't hit the same as the previous seasons. There was something about this that felt like it took a little while to get there. And I think I really did miss some of the cooking and kitchen stuff. Not that it's not in here, but I feel like there was so much other stuff going on that I kind of missed that chaos of the kitchen and some of the things having to be solved in the kitchen. And yeah, I don't know. Again, I say 7 out of 4 because now that I think about it, I really did like this season. Like it's still fresh, and there's actually some episodes I want to rewatch. I don't know if I give it a 7. I liked season 3 more, so giving this a better ranking than season 3 wouldn't make sense. But now that I'm really thinking about some of this stuff, I have to say, I have the question, I should say, do I like season 4 more? You know what? Fuck it. I took so much time. I'm gonna give season 4 8 out of 10 as well. Fuck it. I cannot decide if I like. I actually, now that I think about it, and I talked about it, I can't really decide if I like season 4 more than season 3. I feel like people will probably bash this season, but I just think if you watch if you kept up with it, this season 4 is really good. I feel like it'll be an underrated season, but I feel like because season 1 and 3, it makes season 4 that much better, and it really does the previous 3. Season 4 does the previous 3 seasons justice in terms of really kind of not tying up, almost like tying up certain storylines and stuff like that, but also just like showing the growth of characters while also showing how much they have to go and how flawed they are still. So I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I'll tie with what I thought of season 3. Maybe I'll give season 3, because I honestly really like season 3. So maybe I'll give season 3 a 9 out of 10. And I'll give season 4 an 8 out of 10. That's probably what I'll do. I'll re-rank season 3 with a 9 out of 10, because I liked it that much. And I'll give season 4 an 8 out of 10. A solid 8 out of 10. Could be easily a 7.5, but I don't do halves. I think that's a cop-out, so I like to do whole numbers. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10, but really it's between a 7 and an 8, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts on The Bear if you've watched season 4. It was a very interesting season of TV. Very interesting. I hope they can not clean it up, but like finish it up with a last season 5. I think they deserve it. And I think there's still one more story to tell. Peace.